doing a piece on Stacy. Can you talk a little bit about him?
He's doing a great job for us right now. I think Stacy, first off, is a great kid. He's a really good kid, and he's worked extremely hard. He's one of our hardest workers in practice, one of our hardest workers outside of practice, always getting shots up. And he's moving better this year. Last year, he had a couple of things that hindered him. He was playing behind some really good players, with Juwan and Dante and Isaiah, and Zay was playing really well. But, he had a hip injury, and then he had a death in the family. He had some nagging injuries, but he's done a great job. The biggest thing we just got to continue to harp on with him is decision-making, limit your turnovers, which he's done a better job, and then shot selection. If we can kind of get that a little bit better, he's going to be a really good player for us. But, offensively, he's our second-best offensive player on the perimeter that can make plays, make shots, and so, a couple shots, I'll live with from time to time, because he has the he has the ability to make shots.
Coach, I talked to you last night about the freshman's play last night. You said that you hadn't had a chance to look at the tape and things like that. What have you seen from the tape if you looked at it from the freshman's play last night?
Well, they're doing all right. You evaluate them when they're in there with some older guys, they do a lot better. The problem is when you have them all five out there together and, the last couple minutes of the game. And then also, no offense to Jordan, we got to get him a bucket this year at some point. He hadn't scored. I didn't know he hadn't scored in his career. But they outscored us with Jordan. It was 6-0 the last couple minutes. But, always trying to make sure we're coaching them the right way, even you up 20, up 30, because they got to get better, whether it was the Auburn game, whether it was the Bethel game, when they're playing those extended minutes. And then we had him out of position a little bit. I had Eric playing the 3 a couple minutes. So, but, when they're in there with those other guys, I thought Zay did a good job rebounding the basketball. CJ did a good job defensively for the most part. He's just got to get better in his decision-making. And then, Tehran, we just got to keep working with him, defensively. But they did a good job, for the most part.
Coach, after Lipscomb, you said you really wanted to focus on just getting this team better. Do you feel like you guys were successful in that it showed last night?
I thought for stretches, if you hold anybody to 18 points in the first half, that's good. The one thing we got to do a better job of is turnovers, because our turnovers are leading to baskets, and then rebounding the basketball. Those are our two biggest things that we've got to do a better job with. But, I think they got better last night. I think we were improved on the defensive end. How we want to play. It's not maxing out, but it's getting better, and it's got to be better for Saturday because they really run good offense.
You talk about this next stretch of non-conference games and starting that off with a tough road game at Evansville.
Yeah, I mean we've got a bunch of road games coming up here, and it's just kind of where the schedule falls. And Evansville's very good. You're talking about an upper half Missouri Valley team. Brand new arena. It's gonna be a great crowd. It's a good, it's not our main rival, but it is it's close enough to where it is a rival. And they do a great job. Coach Simmons does a great job. And then you finish that, and then you got Western at home, who's playing really well. Coach Harper's doing a great job with those guys. And then you finish up with Arkansas State and Dayton on the road, who's very good teams. And then you come back from Christmas, you got Valpo, who won the Horizon League last year and brings back their best 2 players. So we got our work cut out for us, but the only thing we're concentrating right now is ourselves today, and then Evansville tomorrow and Friday, and then play them on Saturday, and no further than that.
Can you talk a little bit about the rivalry with Western?
Can I talk about that?
Yeah, please.
Oh, I mean, I know it means a lot. I've been here 7 years, so I know it means a lot to the people around here. It means a lot to me now, now that I'm embedded in here and been here a long time. So, but they've got a good basketball team, very familiar with some of their personnel. TJ Price recruited him, very hard, and ended up, he was waiting. He waited a little bit longer, and he ended up in a good situation. He's playing extremely well for them. George Fant's a really good player, but what makes it a rivalry is both teams are very good. Both teams have had postseason success. Both teams are getting to the NCAA tournament and have won games in the past 5 years, winning championships. So a lot of respect for the program. Both teams, it's like Redskins Cowboys. I'm a big Redskins fan. It's not as great of a rivalry right now because both teams are, but it's getting back to that because the Redskins are getting better. But Western it's tremendous. It's a tremendous rivalry. It's going to be a big game, and there's some empty seats. Hopefully, it's filled up and sold out for next Saturday. I don't want to talk about Western too much right now because we got a big game at Evansville, and it's basically 2 weeks away. But everybody knows it's a big rivalry. It means a lot to these people around here.
Tell us about Evansville. They have 10 guys averaging like 14 minutes or more. How are they accomplishing that? What are they trying to do?
Well, they don't play too fast. That's not what's happened right now is Cole Ryan's been injured a little bit. He sat out a couple games. He hadn't played. He's back in the starting lineup, and this is his second or third game that he'll be back, kind of full speed. And he's their best player. He's their All-Missouri Valley Conference player that they have. But they're getting production from their 3 guards really. Cox 22, Ryan 11, and then 31 Ballantine off the bench has been really, really good. So those are 3 guys that we got to do a good job of limiting them offensively, limiting their touches, limiting their good looks. But they run such good offense that you've got to be locked in for 35 seconds. And it's going to be a big test for us to see where we are defensively.
Those 74 turnovers is all they have. I mean, they just don't shoot themselves in the foot.
No, I think they're averaging like 10 turnovers a game, right? 10 or 11 turnovers a game. I looked at that stat this morning when I was looking at their stats. That's the biggest stat that sticks out of what they do. They take care of the ball. They're not trying to run it down your throat. If they have opportunities, they'll take it. But then they want to run good offense and, make you make a mistake defensively, whether it's off not defending the flare the right way or the curl or, because they have guys that can make shots.
Been kind of lucky at this stretch, not traveling too far for road games. How big is that in terms of preparation? Just maybe not making a 5-hour, 6-hour, 7-hour bus trip.
Well, it's good, just for travel because, to be honest, you don't want to be on the buses that long just because, we're beat up. We're still beat up. I hate to say that, but, with Jeff out, it just limits our numbers even more. And Dexter's always, I joke about it, but he's always knees, ankles, something's always going on with him, but he just fights through it. But, it's good. It's good to be able to play these teams like Evansville, Southern Illinois, Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee, maybe in the future, Lipscomb, Arkansas State, to where you can play a good game, very quality game, a good non-conference opponent, and not get on a plane or not bus 6 to 8 hours. So it's a good thing. So hopefully we can keep some of these games intact.
Can you talk a little bit more about Dexter? He's only shot 2 free throws this season. Is that just part of his game? He's not kind of the guy that goes to the basket, or what are you seeing out of him right now?
I think he's been good. Last night, he didn't score last night, I think. Is that right? He didn't score last night. But Dexter's about winning first and foremost, but he had 4 steals. I thought defensively he was pretty good. Him and Stacy are kind of vying. I don't know which one will be our best defender. It's kind of back and forth right now. Dexter wants to defend. The best thing Dexter does is shoots the basketball. He shoots the basketball extremely well, and he's playing with guards when he's in there with Isaiah and Stacy that can get him shots. So if he's wide open from 3, I want him taking that shot. I thought last night he tried to put pressure on the basket a little bit more. In games, he's made a couple big plays, taking it to the basket. So I think he's capable. I just think he doesn't want to force things. He wants to try to do the right thing. He had some turnovers last night, but it was just when watching the tape, it was just some poor decisions. It wasn't from being pressured or anything. But, his attitude's always really good. He's a team guy. We need him to score for us right in that 10 to 12 point range. He's at 8 points a game right now, but he makes one more 3 a game and can make get to about 11. That'd be great.